Are you struggling to pass your theory test first time? Then you're at the right place. Welcome to the Driving Theory Test UK, your trusted source for DVSA-style practice questions, hazard perception training, road signs, and expert tips to help you pass with confidence. We break down tricky topics into simple, easy-to-follow videos so you can learn faster and smarter. Bullseye, whether your test is weeks away or just around the corner, we're here to support you every step of the way. Subscribe now and join thousands of learners who've passed their test with our help.
Question 1. Which vehicle will use a blue flashing beacon? A. Breakdown recovery. B. Bomb disposal. C. Motorway maintenance. D. Snow plow. B. Bomb disposal. Emergency vehicles use blue flashing lights. If you see or hear one, move out of its way as soon as it's safe and legal to do so. Question 2. Why must you take great care when emerging from this junction? A. The road surface is poor. B. The view is restricted. C. The curbs are high. D. The footpath is narrow. B. The view is restricted. You may have to pull forward slowly until you can see up and down the road. Be aware that the traffic approaching the junction can't see you either. If you don't know that it's clear, don't go. Question 3. You're approaching a roundabout. What should you do if a cyclist ahead is signaling to turn right? A. Give a warning with your horn. B. Signal the cyclist to move across. C. Overtake on the right. D. Give the cyclist plenty of room. D. Give the cyclist plenty of room. If you're following a cyclist who's signaling to turn right at a roundabout, leave plenty of room. Give them space and time to get into the correct lane. Question 4. You're following a long vehicle approaching a crossroads. What should you do if the driver signals right but moves close to the left-hand curb? A. Overtake on the right-hand side. B. Warn the driver about the wrong signal. C. Wait behind the long vehicle. D. Report the driver to the police. C. Wait behind the long vehicle. When a long vehicle is going to turn right, it may need to keep close to the left-hand curb. This is to prevent the rear end of the trailer cutting the corner. You need to be aware of how long vehicles behave in such situations. Don't overtake the lorry, because it could turn as you're alongside. Stay behind and wait for it to turn. Question 5. You're joining a motorway from a slip road. How should you deal with traffic already on the motorway? A. Use the slip road to accelerate until you're moving much faster than the motorway traffic. B. Match your speed to traffic in the left-hand lane and filter into a safe gap. C. Stop at the end of the slip road and look for a safe gap. D. Carry on along the hard shoulder until you see a safe gap. B. Match your speed to traffic in the left-hand lane and filter into a safe gap. You should give way to traffic already on the motorway. Where possible, traffic may move over to let you in, but don't force your way into the traffic stream. Traffic could be traveling at high speed, so try to match your speed to filter in without affecting the traffic flow.
Hi there. I hope this video helps you prepare for your UK driving theory test. If you find it useful, please consider subscribing to our channel and don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update. Also, drop your score in the comments, we'd love to hear how you're doing. Now, let's jump back into the video.
Question 6. What's the purpose of the yellow lines painted across the road? A. To show a safe distance between vehicles. B. To make you aware of your speed. C. To keep the area clear of traffic. D. To warn you to change direction. B. To make you aware of your speed. These lines may be painted on the road on the approach to a roundabout, a village, or a particular hazard. The lines are raised and painted yellow, and their purpose is to make you aware of your speed. Reduce your speed in good time so that you avoid having to brake harshly over the last few meters before reaching the junction. Question 7. What's the main hazard the driver of the red car, arrowed, should be aware of? A. The bus may move out into the road. B. Oncoming vehicles will assume the driver is turning right. C. Glare from the sun may affect the driver's vision. D. The black car may stop suddenly. A. The bus may move out into the road. If you can do so safely, give way to buses signaling to move off at bus stops. Try to anticipate the actions of other road users around you. The driver of the red car should be prepared for the bus pulling out. As you approach a bus stop, look to see how many passengers are waiting to board. If the last one has just got on, the bus is likely to move off. Question 8. You're in a built-up area at night and the road is well lit. Why should you use dipped headlights? A. So that you can go at a much faster speed. B. So that you can see further along the road. C. So that you can switch to main beam quickly. D. So that you can be easily seen by others. D. So that you can be easily seen by others. You may be difficult to see when you're traveling at night, even on a well-lit road. If you use dipped headlights rather than sidelights, other road users should be able to see you more easily. Question 9. Why should you reduce your speed when you're driving or riding in fog? A. You'll be dazzled by other headlights. B. It's more difficult to see what's ahead. C. The engine will take longer to warm up. D. The brakes don't work as well. B. It's more difficult to see what's ahead. You won't be able to see as far ahead in fog as you can on a clear day. You'll need to reduce your speed so that, if a hazard looms out of the fog, you have the time and space to take avoiding action. Traveling in fog is hazardous. If you can, try to delay your journey until it has cleared. Question 10. Why should you use your mirrors when you see a hazard ahead? A. Because you'll need to brake sharply and stop. B. To check what's happening on the road ahead. C. To assess how your actions will affect the traffic behind. D. Because you'll need to accelerate out of danger. C. To assess how your actions will affect the traffic behind. You should be constantly scanning the road for clues about what's going to happen next. Check your mirrors regularly, particularly as soon as you spot a hazard. What's happening behind may affect how you respond to hazards ahead. Question 11. What does this sign mean? A. Tourist attraction. B. Beware of trains. C. Beware of trams. D. Level crossing. A. Tourist attraction. These signs indicate places of interest and are designed to guide you by the easiest route. They're particularly useful when you're unfamiliar with the area. Question 12. What does this sign mean? A. No through road. B. Give way. C. Turn left ahead. D. T-junction. D. T-junction. This type of sign warns you of hazards ahead. Make sure you look at each sign and road marking that you pass, so that you don't miss any vital instructions or information. This sign shows there's a T-junction with priority over vehicles from the right. Question 13. What does this sign mean? A. Uneven road. B. Steep hill upwards. C. Steep hill downwards. D. Adverse camber. C. Steep hill downwards. This sign gives you an early warning that the road ahead will slope downhill. Prepare to alter your speed and gear. Looking at the sign from left to right will show you whether the road slopes uphill or downhill. Question 14. You're in the left-hand lane at traffic lights, waiting to turn left. Which signal means you must wait? B. At some junctions, there may be separate signals for different lanes. These are called filter lights. They're designed to help traffic flow at major junctions. Make sure that you're in the correct lane and proceed if the way is clear and the green light shows for your lane. Question 15. Where would you see this road marking? A. At traffic lights. B. At a box junction. C. Near a level crossing. D. On road humps. D. On road humps. Because the road has a dark color, changes in level aren't easily seen. White triangles painted on the road surface give you an indication of where there are road humps.
Hi there. I hope this video helps you prepare for your UK driving theory test. If you find it useful, please consider subscribing to our channel and don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update. Also, drop your score in the comments, we'd love to hear how you're doing. Now, let's jump back into the video.
Question 16. What does this sign mean? A. No motor vehicles. B. No through road. C. End of bus lane. D. End of motorway. D. End of motorway. When you leave the motorway, make sure that you check your speedometer. You may be going faster than you realize. Slow down and look for speed limit signs. Question 17. Which type of crossing allows cyclists to ride across while pedestrians are also crossing? A. Toucan. B. Zebra. C. Puffin. D. Pelican. A. Toucan. A toucan crossing is designed to allow pedestrians and cyclists to cross at the same time. Look out for cyclists approaching the crossing at speed. Question 18. What's a cover note? A. A document issued before you receive your registration document. B. A document issued before you receive your MOT certificate. C. A document issued before you receive your insurance certificate. D. A document issued before you receive your driving license. C. A document issued before you receive your insurance certificate. Sometimes an insurance company will issue a temporary insurance certificate called a cover note. It gives you the same insurance cover as your certificate but lasts for a limited period, usually 1 month. Question 19. You're turning right at a crossroads. An oncoming driver is also turning right. What's the advantage of turning behind the oncoming vehicle? A. You'll use less fuel because you can stay in a higher gear. B. You'll be able to turn without stopping. C. You'll have more time to turn. D. You'll have a clearer view of any approaching traffic. D. You'll have a clearer view of any approaching traffic. When turning right at a crossroads where oncoming traffic is also turning right, it's generally safer to turn behind the approaching vehicle. This allows you a clear view of approaching traffic and is called turning offside to offside. However, some junctions, usually controlled by traffic light filters, are marked for vehicles to turn nearside to nearside. Question 20. What should the driver of the red car, arrowed, do? A. Wave towards the pedestrians who are waiting to cross. B. Tell the pedestrian in the road she shouldn't have crossed. C. Quickly drive behind the pedestrian in the road. D. Wait for the pedestrian in the road to cross. D. Wait for the pedestrian in the road to cross. Some people might take a long time to cross the road. They may be older or have a disability. Be patient and don't hurry them by showing your impatience. If pedestrians are standing at the side of the road, don't signal or wave them to cross. Other road users might not have seen your signal and this could lead the pedestrians into a hazardous situation. Question 21. Which vehicle is most likely to take an unusual course at a roundabout? A. Long vehicle. B. Estate car. C. Delivery van. D. Milk float. A. Long vehicle. Long vehicles might have to take a slightly different position when approaching the roundabout or going around it. This is to stop the rear of the vehicle cutting in and mounting the curb. Question 22. What does this sign mean? A. No through road. B. No parking. C. No road markings. D. No entry. D. No entry. No entry signs are used in places such as one-way streets to prevent vehicles driving against the traffic. To ignore one would be dangerous, both for yourself and for other road users, as well as being against the law. Question 23. What does this sign mean? A. Route for trams only. B. Parking for buses only. C. Parking for trams only. D. Route for buses only. A. Route for trams only. Avoid blocking tram routes. Trams are fixed on their route and can't maneuver around other vehicles or pedestrians. Modern trams travel quickly and are quiet, so you might not hear them approaching. Question 24. What does this sign mean? A. Waiting permitted. B. Waiting restrictions apply. C. Clearway, no stopping. D. National speed limit applies. B. Waiting restrictions apply. There'll be a plate or additional sign to tell you when the restrictions apply. Question 25. What's the meaning of this traffic sign? A. Give priority to vehicles coming towards you. B. Bus lane ahead. C. You have priority over vehicles coming towards you. D. End of two-way road. C. You have priority over vehicles coming towards you. Don't force your way through. Show courtesy and consideration to other road users. Although you have priority, make sure oncoming traffic is going to give way before you continue.
Hi there. I hope this video helps you prepare for your UK driving theory test. If you find it useful, please consider subscribing to our channel and don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update. Also, drop your score in the comments, we'd love to hear how you're doing. Now, let's jump back into the video.
Question 26. What helps to reduce traffic bunching on a motorway? A. Contraflow systems. B. National speed limits. C. Variable speed limits. D. Lane closures. C. Variable speed limits. Congestion can be reduced by keeping traffic at a constant speed. At busy times, maximum speed limits are displayed on overhead gantries. These can be varied quickly, depending on the amount of traffic. By keeping to a constant speed on busy sections of motorway, overall journey times are normally improved. Question 27. Which sign shows that a tanker is carrying dangerous goods? A. Tankers will display a hazard warning plate on the side and rear of the vehicle. Details of hazard warning symbols are given in the highway code. If a tanker is involved in a collision, you may need to report the tanker's hazard labeling to the emergency services. Question 28. At night, what does it mean if you see a pedestrian wearing reflective clothing and carrying a bright red light? A. You're approaching a traffic danger spot. B. You're approaching an organized walk. C. You're approaching a slow-moving vehicle. D. You're approaching roadworks. B. You're approaching an organized walk. The people on the walk should be keeping to the left, but don't assume this. Pass carefully, making sure you have time to do so safely. Be aware that the pedestrians have their backs to you and may not know that you're there. Question 29. What does it mean if the signs at a bus lane show no times of operation? A. The lane is in operation 24 hours a day. B. The lane is only in operation at peak times. C. The lane is only in operation in daylight hours. D. The lane isn't in operation. A. The lane is in operation 24 hours a day. Bus lane signs show the vehicles allowed to use the lane and its times of operation. Where no times are shown, the bus lane is in operation 24 hours a day. Question 30. You're invited to a pub lunch. What should you do if you know that you'll have to drive in the evening? A. Have some milk before drinking alcohol. B. Avoid mixing your alcoholic drinks. C. Eat a hot meal with your alcoholic drinks. D. Don't drink any alcohol at all. D. Don't drink any alcohol at all. Alcohol will stay in your body for several hours and may make you unfit to drive later in the day. Drinking during the day will also affect your performance at work or study. Question 31. You're driving past parked cars. What should you do if you see a bicycle wheel sticking out between the cars? A. Brake sharply and flash your headlights. B. Slow down and be prepared to stop for a cyclist. C. Slow down and wave the cyclist across. D. Accelerate past quickly and sound your horn. B. Slow down and be prepared to stop for a cyclist. Scan the road as you drive. Try to anticipate hazards by being aware of the places where they're likely to occur. You'll then be able to react in good time. Question 32. What would you expect to find at a contraflow system on a motorway? A. Road humps. B. Wider lanes than normal. C. Lower speed limits. D. Temporary traffic lights. C. Lower speed limits. When approaching a contraflow system, reduce speed in good time and obey all speed limits. You may be traveling in a narrower lane than normal, with no permanent barrier between you and the oncoming traffic. Be aware that the hard shoulder may be used for traffic and the road ahead could be obstructed by slow-moving or broken-down vehicles. Question 33. Are passengers allowed to ride in a caravan that's being towed? A. No, not at any time. B. Only if all the seats in the towing vehicle are full. C. Only if a stabilizer is fitted. D. Yes, if they're over 14. A. No, not at any time. Riding in a towed caravan is highly dangerous. The safety of the entire unit is dependent on the stability of the trailer. Moving passengers would make the caravan unstable and could cause loss of control. Question 34. Which driving technique can help you save fuel? A. Using each gear in turn. B. Using lower gears as often as possible. C. Missing out some gears. D. Accelerating sharply in each gear. C. Missing out some gears. Missing out intermediate gears, when appropriate, helps to reduce the amount of time spent accelerating and decelerating, the times when your vehicle uses the most fuel. Question 35. You're leaving your vehicle parked on a road and unattended. When may you leave the engine running? A. If you'll be parking for less than 5 minutes. B. Never if you're away from the vehicle. C. If the battery keeps going flat. D. When parked in a 20 miles per hour zone. B. Never if you're away from the vehicle. When you leave your vehicle parked on a road, switch off the engine and secure the vehicle. Make sure no valuables are visible, shut all the windows, lock the vehicle, and set the alarm if the vehicle has one.
Hi there. I hope this video helps you prepare for your UK driving theory test. If you find it useful, please consider subscribing to our channel and don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update. Also, drop your score in the comments, we'd love to hear how you're doing. Now, let's jump back into the video.
Question 36. What will happen if your car's wheels are unbalanced? A. The brakes will fail. B. The tires will deflate. C. The steering will vibrate. D. The steering will pull to one side. C. The steering will vibrate. If your wheels are out of balance, it will cause the steering to vibrate at certain speeds. This isn't a fault that will put itself right, so take your vehicle to a garage or tire fitter to have the wheels rebalanced. Question 37. How can you use your vehicle's engine to control your speed? A. By changing to a lower gear. B. By selecting neutral. C. By changing to a higher gear. D. By selecting reverse gear. A. By changing to a lower gear. You should brake and slow down before selecting a lower gear. The gear can then be used to keep the speed low and help you control the vehicle. This is particularly helpful on long downhill stretches, where brake fade can occur if the brakes overheat. Question 38. What should you do when leaving your vehicle parked and unattended? A. Park in a housing estate. B. Park near a busy junction. C. Lock it and remove the key. D. Leave the left indicator on. C. Lock it and remove the key. An unlocked car is an open invitation to thieves. Leaving the keys in the ignition not only makes your car easy to steal but could also invalidate your insurance. Question 39. You're driving on a motorway at night. Which lights should you have on if there are other vehicles just ahead of you? A. Side lights only. B. Main beam headlights. C. Front fog lights. D. Dipped headlights. D. Dipped headlights. If you're driving behind other traffic on the motorway at night, use dipped headlights. Main beam headlights will dazzle the other drivers. Your headlight's dipped beam should fall short of the vehicle in front. Question 40. You're driving on the motorway. Which lane should you get into well before you reach your exit? A. The right-hand lane. B. The hard shoulder. C. The left-hand lane. D. The middle lane. C. The left-hand lane. You'll see the first advance direction sign 1 mile from a motorway exit. If you're traveling at 60 miles per hour in the right-hand lane, you'll only have about 50 seconds before you reach the countdown markers. There'll be another sign at the half-mile point. Don't cut across lanes of traffic at the last moment, move to the left-hand lane in good time. Question 41. What must you do if your eyesight has become very poor and you're no longer able to meet the driver's eyesight requirements? A. Tell your optician. B. Tell the driver licensing authority. C. Tell your doctor. D. Tell the police. B. Tell the driver licensing authority. Having very poor eyesight will have a serious effect on your ability to drive safely. If you can't meet the driver's eyesight requirements, you must tell DVLA, or DVA in Northern Ireland. Question 42. Why should drivers be more careful on roads where trams also operate? A. Because trams can't steer to avoid obstructions. B. Because trams don't have lights. C. Because trams can't stop for cars. D. Because trams don't have a horn. A. Because trams can't steer to avoid obstructions. You should take extra care when you first encounter trams. You'll have to get used to dealing with a different traffic system. Be aware that trams can accelerate and travel very quickly, and they can't change direction to avoid obstructions. Question 43. What should you do when you leave your car unattended for a few minutes? A. Switch the engine off but leave the key in. B. Park near a traffic warden. C. Leave the engine running. D. Lock it and remove the key. D. Lock it and remove the key. Always switch off the engine, remove the key and lock your car, even if you're only leaving it for a few minutes. Question 44. What should you do to reduce the risk of your vehicle catching fire? A. Use fuel additives. B. Check out any strong smell of fuel. C. Avoid driving with a full tank of fuel. D. Keep water levels above maximum. B. Check out any strong smell of fuel. The fuel in your vehicle can be a dangerous fire hazard. If you smell fuel, check out where it's coming from. Never use a naked flame near the vehicle if you can smell fuel, and never smoke when refueling your vehicle. Question 45. You're driving a car that has a diesel engine. What can a loose filler cap on your fuel tank cause? A. It can make the engine difficult to start. B. It can improve your vehicle's fuel consumption. C. It can make the road slippery for other road users. D. It can increase the level of exhaust emissions. C. It can make the road slippery for other road users. Diesel fuel can spill out if your filler cap isn't secured properly. This is most likely to occur on bends, junctions, and roundabouts, where it will make the road slippery, especially if it's wet. At the end of a spell of dry weather, road surfaces may be especially slippery where diesel has been spilled but it hasn't been washed away by rain.
Hi there. I hope this video helps you prepare for your UK driving theory test. If you find it useful, please consider subscribing to our channel and don't forget to turn on the bell notification so you never miss an update. Also, drop your score in the comments, we'd love to hear how you're doing. Now, let's jump back into the video.
Question 46. You're driving in a slow-moving queue of traffic. What should you do just before changing lane? A. Give a slowing down arm signal. B. Look for motorcyclists filtering through the traffic. C. Change down to first gear. D. Sound the horn and flash your lights. B. Look for motorcyclists filtering through the traffic. In queuing traffic, motorcyclists could be passing you on either side. Use your mirrors and check your blind area before changing lanes or changing direction. Question 47. You're waiting at a T-junction. What should you do if a vehicle is coming from the right, with its left indicator flashing? A. Move out and accelerate hard. B. Wait until the vehicle starts to turn in. C. Pull out before the vehicle reaches the junction. D. Move out slowly. B. Wait until the vehicle starts to turn in. Other road users may give misleading signals. When you're waiting at a junction, don't emerge until you're sure of their intentions. Question 48. What should you do if your vehicle has a puncture on a motorway? A. Pull up on the hard shoulder or in an emergency refuge area and call for assistance. B. Pull up on the hard shoulder or in an emergency refuge area. Change the wheel as quickly as possible. C. Drive slowly to the next service area to get assistance. D. Switch on your hazard warning lights. Stop in your lane. A. Pull up on the hard shoulder or in an emergency refuge area and call for assistance. Pull up on the hard shoulder or in an emergency refuge area and call for assistance. Don't attempt to repair your vehicle while it's on the hard shoulder, because of the risk posed by traffic passing at high speeds. Question 49. You're driving along a country road. You see this sign. What should you do after dealing safely with the hazard? A. Accelerate briskly. B. Check your tire pressures. C. Test your brakes. D. Switch on your hazard warning lights. C. Test your brakes. If your brakes have been thoroughly soaked, you should check that they're working properly before you build up speed again. Before you do this, remember to check your mirrors and consider what's behind you. Question 50. When would you increase the pressure in your tires so that it's above the normal value? A. When the vehicle is fitted with anti-lock brakes. B. When carrying a heavy load. C. When the roads are slippery. D. When the tire tread is worn below 2 mm. B. When carrying a heavy load. Check the vehicle handbook. This should give you guidance on the correct tire pressures for your vehicle and when you may need to adjust them. If you're carrying a heavy load, you may need to adjust the headlights as well. Most cars have a switch on the dashboard to do this.